Why buy an e-bike? Electric bikes provide all the advantages of a standard bicycle, but with the performance characteristics of a modern day motorbike. Simply stated, electric bikes make challenging or longer journeys more practical for the average person and bridge the performance gap between a normal bike and a motorbike by utilising advancements in the development of batteries, electrical motors and associated components. Electric bikes were not feasible previously due to technology limitations. E-bikes significantly reduce travelling time via increased speed, which makes them feasible for replacing cars and other forms of expensive transport. For normal activities such as commuting to work, going shopping, they decrease the stress on the rider. You are able to navigate agile routes, roads, bike tracks, off-road. They require less physical effort, which results in a tireless, effortless, free, enjoyable ride. Electric bikes inject an element of fun, whether you're zipping up a hill or biking down a country track. They increase safety. Electric bikes allow you to move out the way of trouble, accelerate away from danger, or enable you to travel along further, safer routes, which were previously not feasible. They reduce costs over traditional motor-powered vehicles. There's no insurance, there's no tax, there's no MOT, there's no license, there's no parking charges. Extremely cheap to maintain and to recharge the battery. They also have some society benefits: less congestion, less pollution, less accidents, and when there are accidents they tend to be less serious because of the significant differences in weight over a traditional vehicle. Right, what do you need to consider before purchasing your first electric bike? Applications and use. You need to decide whether it is for commuting, fun or off-road use. This will help guide what style of bike you buy, what power you need and what range is required. The other consideration is price. How much are you prepared to pay? Electric bikes can range from anything from £1,000 upwards to £5,000 depending on configuration, brand and components involved. The other consideration is performance. You need to consider the geography, terrain, speed and range you want. There are generally two types of drive kit. There's the mid-drive kit and the rear hub drive kit. The mid-drive kit is great for torque. You get all the power through the gears as it connects to the central crank drive, and the power is transmitted through the chain, similar to how you pedal. Fantastic for hill climbing. Whereas the rear hub drive kit is a fixed ratio. Lower torque but higher top end speed. Fantastic for flat ground. They tend to be cheaper and easier to configure on the bike if it's a kit you're buying. The speed obviously will depend on the rider's weight, the motor power and the level of assistance you're using, if you're using it in a configuration where it's assisting you rather than thumb throttle. And also obviously depending on the terrain you're driving over. If you're going up hills, you're going to get less range, and the battery capacity. Battery capacities go anything from 10 amp hour upwards to 24. The bigger the battery, the heavier the bike is going to be, and the longer it takes to charge obviously. The other consideration when buying an electric bike is you're going to need to look at the legality of it. For instance, in the UK you're limited technically to 250 watt, which does sort of limit the amount of power you can get. A lot of kits you can buy come with dual power, where you either put in a code or you have a physical key which will unlock the full power of the motor. This tends to be the norm now because 250 watt is quite slow. In America they do allow you up to 750 watt, and places like Australia around 300 watt. The Department of Transport are currently reviewing the rules and the regulation around this, so it's likely to change. I'd recommend you have at least 1000 watt no matter what kit you're buying, because you'll need the extra power for the hills, otherwise you're really going to struggle with a 250 watt kit. The other consideration you need to be aware of is your personal skill set. If you're buying a kit, then you're going to have to obviously put it together yourself. You need to have the skills to do that. They don't tend to be complicated, but if you're not good with electronics or mechanics you might struggle, whereas a pre-built kit might be better for you. The other thing you should consider, last but not least, the make, model and review. always try and go for a trusted company with good reviews. Try and go for the known makes and the known models, just because you're going to get the after sales support. You're going to be able to resolve issues quicker with better quality components. I'm now going to talk about the Cyclotricity 1500, and we're going to focus on that for the rest of the video. This is a very quick review of the Cyclotricity 1500 watt e-bike. Cyclotricity is a company based in England. They produce all manner of commuting e-bikes. This is a full suspension e-bike. It's a rear wheel driven 1500 watt power. It's got full disc brakes front and back. 16 amp hour battery, which will last for about 20 miles using it medium to heavy use on flats and some slight hills. As you can see, the speed controller, the brains of the bike, rear suspension. Obviously the lock does not come with it, neither does the GoPro clamp or the phone clamp. I did buy the optional extra thumb throttle. The kit comes with an LCD screen. You switch it on by pressing the on button, which is also the charge dock on the battery. Just hold down the LCD screen. You've got 5 levels of assist. Obviously 5 is being the strongest one, perfect for hills and speed. Thumb throttle. The brakes are quite good, being hydraulic and disc brakes. They're quite powerful. The back brake seems to be better than the front brake. The front brake seems to be jittery, so you have to be really careful that you're braking with a preference for the back first. 9 gears, which is more than enough with pedal assistance. Let's take it for a ride. As you can see, it's got quite a lot of power. Level 5 assistance. As you can see, it absolutely rockets. It's really fast, really slick. I'm hardly pedaling, but I'm moving really fast. Obviously we're going downhill here, so don't need any assistance whatsoever. Here, don't want to go too far. Whoa, just 1 second to appreciate that view. We do live in a fantastic country, being Wales. So much countryside, beaches, mountains. It's great, especially if you're into mountain biking or outdoor pursuits or anything like that. Right, so on level 5 assist, this is a medium steep incline. Problem is I'm in the wrong gear, so I'm going to try and take off a little bit. It's going to be very difficult, so I'm going to use the throttle a bit. That is using the thumb throttle. I am using just the thumb throttle at the moment. Just the throttle. It's absolutely fantastic. Ease off a little bit here in the corner. The acceleration is fantastic. If I go from a, this is fairly flat terrain. If I go from a almost stopped just on the throttle, this is throttle only. is absolutely flying, as you can see. I'm on the back brake a lot now. Absolutely amazing. Okay, this is a steep winding road. I'm going to go to the bottom from a standing start. As you can see, it's a fair incline and it will test the motor. Okay, I'm in second gear, full power assistance. I am cycling, but I'm basically just turning the crank. I'm not really giving any assistance, and it goes up there with ease, with absolute ease. Now I'm on throttle only. Okay, struggling on the very steep parts, but apart from that, it's absolutely fantastic. Absolutely amazing. As I said, it's quite a heavy bike, so you don't want to be cycling this for any long distance over hills without assistance. So I would be on top of the charging, because this is not the type of bike you can cycle without the battery. If you were going to buy this bike primarily for hills or off-roading, I'd advise you to buy a mid-drive kit. I wouldn't go anything below 1500 watts, simply because you need the torque for the hills. I'm not so worried about the top speed, it's more the torque. I mean, the mid-drive kits offer the full power cycle through all the gears, where obviously the rear end kit is a fixed ratio, so it's great for top end speed, but for torque for hills it's useless. But overall I'm quite impressed with the bike. It's fast, it's quite impressive. If you're interested in an electric bike, I definitely check out Cyclotricity. They offer good warranty, seem to be good service. The bike arrives in a state where you only have to put in a few screws, turn the handlebars, and it's ready to go. Other than that, it's absolutely fantastic. The service, when you buy the bike from Cyclotricity, they don't send you a dispatch email, but the bike comes next day. So just be wary that if you're waiting for the bike, it will come ridiculously soon. It's a brilliant bike. Apart from the weight, it's fantastic, and I'd highly recommend it.
Session started.
This is Cyclotricity's 1500 watt 48 volt rear hub electric bike named the Beast. The bike is capable of around 30 miles per hour on level and smooth terrain with great acceleration. Speed will decrease with heavier loads or when climbing hills. The bike can power through long hills on throttle alone, but will struggle with very steep inclines, especially from a standing start or with little pedal assistance. This is a full suspension crossbar style alloy mountain bike in medium size and comes in blue and white paint. It has 100mm of travel via Suntour front and rear suspension with Tektro hydraulic disc brakes front and back. The bike has 9 gears, Shimano Altus make, and 27.5 inch tyres. The bike is shipped pre-built and only requires very minimal assembly of the handlebars and the pedals and some connections on the electronics, and only requires a 12-hour initial battery charge before first use. The bike weighs 25 kilograms and there is some drag from the motor when riding with a zero assistance, but when you are riding in assistance mode, the drag is not noticeable and it doesn't affect the handling of the bike. The battery, motor and electrics are reasonably waterproof and dustproof, and the bike can be used in adverse weather conditions. The supplied battery is a Logitech 16 amp hour capacity. The battery can be removed for charging and the charging time is around 4 to 5 hours. The battery will allow a 20-mile ride on a medium to heavy use over a mixture of terrains. and also includes a USB port for charging other devices such as phones. The bike is a dual power bike, and out of the box is software limited to 250 watt. To unlock the full power of the bike, you have to complete a form and email the company, who will then provide the unlock code and instructions. And to unlock the bike is quite simple. You just put the unlock code into the LCD screen, and then you get the full power of the bike. I'll provide links in the description of the video to where you can purchase the bike and where you can send the instructions to get the unlock code. Right. That's 6.9, 6.1, sorry. That's 6.2 kilometers in 14 minutes and 21 seconds. Not bad. absolutely fantastic. It's amazing. .46 kilometres, 23 minutes